Have you ever faced adversaries or foes that seem to constantly test your resolve? Do you find yourself struggling to maintain inner peace and composure in the presence of those who oppose you? What if I told you that there is a way to rise above the influence of your enemies and emerge victorious, not just in the external sense, but also in the realm of your own mind and spirit? In this video, we will delve into the timeless wisdom of Stoicism, a philosophical tradition that has helped countless individuals navigate the challenges of life with grace, resilience, and unwavering strength. We will explore 7 powerful Stoic principles that, when applied diligently, can transform the way you perceive and respond to your enemies, enabling you to overcome their influence and find inner peace amidst adversity. To begin our journey into overcoming enemies with Stoic wisdom, we must first understand the very nature of those who oppose us. It is crucial to recognize that having enemies is a natural part of life's challenges. No matter how kind, compassionate, or well-intentioned we may be, there will always be individuals who disagree with us, challenge us, or even seek to harm us. However, the Stoics teach us that the actions of our enemies often stem from their own struggles, limitations, and pain. They may lash out at us due to their own insecurities, fears, or unresolved issues. By shifting our perspective and seeing our enemies not as inherently bad people, but as individuals grappling with their own difficulties, we can begin to approach them with greater understanding and compassion. Moreover, the Stoics encourage us to view our enemies as opportunities for personal growth and development. Every challenge they present to us is a chance to strengthen our character, test our resolve, and expand our capacity for patience, forgiveness, and resilience. By reframing our adversaries as catalysts for our own growth, we can begin to approach them with a sense of gratitude and purpose, rather than resentment and bitterness. Section 2. Control your emotions and reactions. One of the core tenets of Stoicism is the importance of emotional regulation, particularly in the face of adversity. When confronted by our enemies, it is all too easy to succumb to anger, frustration, or despair. However, the Stoics teach us that true power lies in our ability to control our own emotions and reactions, rather than being controlled by them. To cultivate this emotional mastery, we must first become aware of our triggers and patterns of response. When an enemy provokes us, we can take a step back and observe our initial impulses without immediately acting upon them. By creating space between stimulus and response, we give ourselves the opportunity to choose a more thoughtful, measured approach. The Stoics also emphasize the practice of reframing our thoughts and perceptions. Instead of dwelling on the negative aspects of our enemy's behavior, we can actively seek out alternative perspectives that promote a sense of calm and clarity. For example, rather than taking their insults personally, we can remind ourselves that their words are a reflection of their own pain and not a true assessment of our worth. By regularly exercising our ability to control our emotions and reactions, we develop a profound sense of inner strength and resilience. We become less reactive to the provocations of our enemies and more capable of maintaining our composure and integrity, even in the most challenging situations. Another fundamental principle of Stoicism is the dichotomy of control, the recognition that some things are within our power to influence, while others are not. When it comes to dealing with enemies, this distinction is crucial. We may not be able to control their actions, attitudes, or beliefs, but we can always control our own thoughts, emotions, and responses. The Stoics advise us to direct our energy and attention towards what lies within our sphere of control. Rather than expending our resources on trying to change or convince our enemies, we can focus on cultivating our own virtues such as courage, justice, wisdom, and self-discipline. By strengthening our character and aligning our actions with our values, we become less vulnerable to the opinions and machinations of others. Moreover, worrying about things beyond our control, such as the behavior of our enemies, only serves to drain our mental and emotional energy. It distracts us from the present moment and robs us of the peace and clarity we need to navigate life's challenges effectively. By letting go of our attachment to outcomes we cannot influence, we free ourselves to concentrate on what truly matters, our own choices, actions, and growth. This does not mean, however, that we should passively accept mistreatment or injustice from our enemies. The Stoics encourage us to take appropriate action when necessary, but to do so from a place of inner calm and rational deliberation, rather than reactivity and impulsiveness. By focusing on what we can control and letting go of what we cannot, we cultivate a sense of empowerment and equanimity in the face of adversity. One of the most powerful tools in overcoming the influence of our enemies is the practice of empathy and understanding. The Stoics recognize that beneath the surface of even the most troubling behavior, there often lies a complex web of pain, fear, and unmet needs. By making an effort to put ourselves in our enemies' shoes and consider the underlying reasons behind their actions, we can begin to see them in a more nuanced and compassionate light. We may discover that their hostility towards us is rooted in their own feelings of insecurity, jealousy, or past wounds. By recognizing the humanity behind their behavior, we can begin to dissolve the barriers that separate us and open the door to greater understanding and connection. This practice of empathy does not mean condoning or excusing harmful actions. Rather, it is about seeking to understand the deeper causes and motivations behind them. When we approach our enemies with curiosity and compassion, we create the possibility for dialogue, reconciliation, and growth. Moreover, by cultivating empathy and understanding, we also benefit ourselves. We reduce the power that our enemies hold over us by refusing to meet their negativity with more of the same. Instead, we choose to respond with patience, wisdom, and kindness, knowing that this is the surest path to inner peace and freedom. Section 5. Cultivate inner strength and resilience. In the face of adversity, it is essential to develop a deep reservoir of inner strength and resilience. The Stoics understood that true power lies not in external circumstances, but in the fortitude of our own minds and hearts. To cultivate this inner strength, we must engage in regular practices that challenge us to confront our fears, limitations, and weaknesses. One such practice is negative visualization, the act of intentionally contemplating worst-case scenarios and mentally preparing ourselves to face them with courage and equanimity. By exposing ourselves to the possibility of loss, failure, or adversity, we paradoxically diminish their power to unsettle us when they actually occur. Another key aspect of building resilience is reframing challenges as opportunities for growth and self-discovery. When our enemies present us with obstacles or setbacks, we can choose to view them not as insurmountable barriers, but as chances to test our mettle and prove our strength. By embracing adversity as a teacher and a catalyst for personal development, we cultivate a mindset of resilience and adaptability. The Stoics also emphasize the importance of developing a strong sense of self-reliance and inner autonomy. By learning to trust our own judgment, values, and capabilities, we become less dependent on the opinions and validation of others, including our enemies. We cultivate a deep sense of self-respect and self-confidence that allows us to weather any storm and emerge stronger and wiser on the other side. One of the most effective ways to overcome the influence of our enemies is to lead by example and embody the qualities we wish to see in the world. The Stoics recognize that true power lies not in domination or coercion, but in the strength of our character and the integrity of our actions. When faced with hostile or unethical behavior from our enemies, it can be tempting to respond in kind, to fight fire with fire. However, the Stoics encourage us to take a different path, to meet adversity with virtue, to counter negativity with compassion, and to respond to hatred with understanding. By staying true to our values and principles, even in the face of opposition, we demonstrate the power of moral courage and conviction. We show that it is possible to stand firm in our beliefs without resorting to the tactics of our adversaries. In doing so, we not only maintain our own integrity, but also inspire others to rise to a higher standard of conduct. Moreover, by consistently acting with honesty, fairness, and compassion, We create the possibility for our enemies to see us in a different light. We open the door for them to question their own assumptions and prejudices and to consider the possibility of a more constructive relationship. While we cannot control their choices, we can plant the seeds of change through our own example and leadership. The Stoics understood that every challenge and adversity we face in life carries with it the potential for growth and transformation. When it comes to dealing with enemies, this principle is especially relevant. By shifting our perspective and actively seeking out the lessons and opportunities inherent in these difficult relationships, we can turn adversity into a powerful catalyst for personal development. One way to approach this is to ask ourselves what we can learn from our enemies. What do their actions and attitudes reveal about our own blind spots, limitations, or areas for improvement? How can we use the challenges they present as a means to develop greater patience, empathy, or emotional resilience? Another aspect of finding growth opportunities in adversity is to look for ways to transform negative relationships into positive ones. This does not mean naively trusting those who have proven untrustworthy, but rather seeking common ground, building bridges of understanding, and creating the conditions for mutual respect and cooperation. History is full of examples of great leaders and thinkers who were able to turn adversaries into allies through the power of wisdom, compassion, and skillful communication. By studying these examples and applying their lessons to our own lives, we can learn to navigate even the most challenging relationships with grace and effectiveness. Ultimately, the goal is not to eliminate all adversity or conflict from our lives, but rather to develop the inner resources and strategies needed to transform challenges into opportunities for growth and positive change. By embracing this perspective, we open ourselves up to a world of possibility and resilience, even in the face of the most daunting obstacles. One of the most profound and transformative aspects of Stoic philosophy is the emphasis on forgiveness and the art of letting go. The Stoics recognized that holding on to resentment, anger, and bitterness towards our enemies only serves to poison our own hearts and minds, while doing nothing to change the situation or the other person. Forgiveness, on the other hand, is a powerful act of self-liberation. It does not mean condoning hurtful actions or absolving others of responsibility, but rather choosing to release ourselves from the toxic grip of negative emotions. When we forgive our enemies, we refuse to let their actions dictate our own inner state of being. We reclaim our power and our peace of mind, even in the face of ongoing adversity. The process of forgiveness is not always easy, but it is essential for our own well-being and growth. It requires us to confront our own pain and vulnerability, to acknowledge the humanity of the other person, and to make a conscious choice to let go of the past and move forward with compassion and understanding. One helpful strategy for cultivating forgiveness is to practice loving-kindness meditation, in which we actively send thoughts of goodwill and compassion to ourselves, our loved ones, and even our enemies. By regularly exercising our capacity for forgiveness and empathy, we strengthen our ability to let go of grudges and resentments and to maintain a sense of inner peace and equilibrium. Ultimately, the act of forgiveness is not about the other person. It is about us. It is about choosing to free ourselves from the burden of negativity and to create space for healing, growth, and positive transformation. By learning to forgive our enemies and let go of the past, we open ourselves up to a world of greater peace, resilience, and inner freedom. As we navigate the challenges of dealing with enemies and adversity, it is crucial to surround ourselves with positive influences and supportive relationships. The Stoics recognize that the company we keep has a profound impact on our thoughts, attitudes, and behaviors, and that we must be intentional about cultivating a network of people who inspire and uplift us. One way to do this is to seek out mentors, teachers, and role models who embody the qualities and values we aspire to. By learning from those who have successfully navigated adversity and maintained their integrity and compassion in the face of challenges, we can gain valuable insights and strategies for our own growth and development. Another important aspect of surrounding ourselves with positive influences is to cultivate deep and meaningful friendships with people who share our values and support our personal growth. The Stoics emphasize the importance of having trusted confidants with whom we can share our struggles, celebrate our successes, and find mutual encouragement and accountability. In addition to individual relationships, it can also be helpful to seek out communities and groups that align with our values and provide a sense of belonging and shared purpose. Whether it is a philosophical discussion group, a volunteer organization, or a personal growth workshop, being part of a community of like-minded individuals can provide invaluable support, inspiration, and opportunities for learning and growth. Ultimately, the goal is to create an environment that nourishes our highest aspirations and helps us to become the best versions of ourselves, even in the face of adversity and challenges. By surrounding ourselves with positive influences and supportive relationships, we create a powerful foundation for resilience, growth, and inner transformation. As we come to the end of our exploration of Stoic wisdom for overcoming enemies, let us take a moment to reflect on the key principles and strategies we have discussed. We began by recognizing that having enemies is a natural part of life's challenges, and that the actions of our adversaries often stem from their own struggles and limitations. By shifting our perspective and seeing enemies as opportunities for growth, we can approach them with greater understanding and compassion. We then explored the importance of controlling our own emotions and reactions, focusing on what we can control, and practicing empathy and understanding. By cultivating inner strength and resilience, leading by example and integrity, and actively seeking out lessons and opportunities for growth, we can transform adversity into a powerful catalyst for personal development. We also discussed the transformative power of forgiveness and the art of letting go, as well as the importance of surrounding ourselves with positive influences and supportive relationships. Ultimately, the true victory in overcoming enemies lies not in changing or defeating them, but in mastering our own minds and emotions. By applying these Stoic principles to our lives, we can develop the inner resources and strategies needed to navigate even the most challenging relationships with grace, wisdom, and resilience. As we conclude this video, I encourage you to reflect on how you can begin to apply these teachings to your own life. Which of these principles resonates most deeply with you, and how can you start incorporating them into your daily thoughts and actions? Remember, the path to inner peace and freedom is not always easy, but it is always worth pursuing. By committing ourselves to personal growth, self-reflection, and the cultivation of wisdom and compassion, we can rise above the influence of our enemies and create a life of purpose, meaning, and profound inner transformation. So go forth with courage, my friends, and know that you have within you the power to overcome any adversity and to create a life of authenticity, resilience, and joy. Thank you for joining me on this journey of Stoic wisdom and personal growth.